Tonight, exclusively on WAMN News, Melville Bombshell. Leaked emails revealed there were preliminary plans for brewery at the Melville Bowling Club, despite the mayor's denial.
Stop the rip-offs, a new home care structure to deliver affordable quality care for elders.
The missing place. Perth Mayor candidate Sandy Anghie proposes new plans to attract residents to live in the CBD.
And on Western Perspective, outgoing Minister Fran Logan outlines the challenges of the job for younger politicians and his plans for retirement.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Lowe and Sarah Smith.
Good evening. WA's former opposition leader Mike Nahan has released leaked email exchanges between Melville Mayor George Gear and CEO Martin Tellman, which appears to contradict Mr Gear's claims there were no plans for a brewery at the Melville Bowling Club. The explosive development comes after a series of reports and interviews by WAMN News. According to the leaked email exchange between the mayor and the CEO obtained by Riverton MP Mike Nahan, very preliminary draft plans, which include a microbrewery, were compiled by members of the bowling club, of which Gear is also a member, and hand-delivered by Gear to the CEO.
I now have information leaked to me, not from the council or from councillors, leaked to me, that made it quite clear that Mr. Gear not only knows there are plans for a brewery, but submitted them to the administration of the City of Melville for consideration.
During last week's interview broadcast on WAMN's Sunday Evening News and WP program, Mayor Gear denied that there were any plans for a brewery on the site and said that neither himself nor the council would support the idea. He claimed the unusual length of the lease was intended to protect open space for the Melville community.
No, look, there's no plans. The lease hasn't even been signed. I mean, it's not coming before council until next Tuesday. So any talk of breweries is way off the mark.
You say that, are you guaranteeing that this won't happen?
No, I don't. Look, I would be against a brewery going down there. And I'm sure councils would be against a brewery. And nothing in the lease will mention a brewery. I'm sure, I can tell you that.
The emails obtained by Dr. Nahan also contained an explosive exchange in which Mayor Gear vows to hold the CEO responsible for information leaks after the plans were mentioned during Dr. Nahan's interview with WAMN News on Wednesday before his Parliament speech.
I'll read some of it. You will be aware that yesterday at State Parliament, Mike Nahan, that's me, made a number of allegations against the city and myself. I watched a TV interview that featured Mike Nahan, and in that interview, Mike Nahan mentioned a brewery. You will remember that I gave you a copy of some draft plans that had been put together by the Melville Bowling Club in respect of a brewery on that site. The drawings were put as an idea of a microbrewery at the Melville Bowling Club site. There's no doubt in my mind that a copy of these draft plans have leaked to someone within the council, and it seems to Aubrey and Mike Nahan. As a CEO, I hold you responsible. I want you to make a list of all officers who have seen a draft. This is a serious breach of duty by someone within the administration. I want a comprehensive investigation to find out who the person is, and in my view, this is a case for instant dismissal.
Melville CEO Martin Tellman then responded to Mr. Gear's email, saying a formal investigation has been launched urgently, with a suitable qualified investigator to be appointed and find out whether the leak comes within the city's administration. In the email, Tellman notes that the draft plans were hand-delivered to him by Gear and represent a draft of what could be constructed on the site. The plans were then sent to an unidentified person as they were preparing the lease for the Melville Bowling Club.
And the CEO responds, indicating, yes, I did get a copy of the brewery. I kept it confidential. It's a very extensive development beyond the capacity of the Melville Bowling Club. And the central point is, there are plans for a brewery. They're not formalized. They were submitted to the council by the mayor.
Dr. Nahan detailed his concerns regarding the email exchange. He accused Mr. Gear of not being forthright to the public about his knowledge of a microbrewery plan at the bowling club.
Mr. Gear is not being forthright, honest, and open with the ratepayers of the city of Melville. He's not indicating clearly what he is promoting on that site.
And you can read the full story and see the emails on our website at wamnnews.com.au. Sarah.
As a growing number of older Australians choose home care over a nursing home, recent reports say administration bills are skyrocketing. But according to one home care provider, flat management structures could be at the heart of reducing costs and increasing quality of life for our elders. Helene Fung with this exclusive report.
AMAWA President Dr Andrew Miller says recent revelations about high fees and charges for in-home care need to change.
There needs to be clear transparency around what people are getting for their money. High administration costs are not reasonable unless there is very complicated administration going on, and we need to fully understand what the justification for fees and charges are.
But Barbara McLeod says the issue lies in the structure of the large not-for-profits that dominate the home care industry. The larger companies with higher overheads generate more administration costs. Barbara believes that when a care provider gets too large, they get caught up trying to pay the bills and lose sight of the care.
If an elder rings their provider, they get charged, and that varies from $2 to $5 a phone call. They are clawing back as much as they can in order to survive. You have to deliver the care first. This is not like selling hamburgers and shoes.
She stated that a flat management structure helps to provide an affordable yet high-quality home care for elders in need. The structure also allows family members to participate in the process. Helene Fung, WAMN News.
Livability will be back in Perth city centre, with the City of Perth mayoral candidate promising to bring back long-term residents to the city.
Sandy Anghie wants to establish a plan for a city of neighbourhoods if elected, as other candidates failed to suggest long-term residential plans for the CBD. Nelson Liu with this exclusive report.
Bringing people back to the city permanently. Long-term residents, the key to Perth CBD's vitality.
A lot of issues in the city that we need to start addressing.
City of Perth Lord Mayor candidate Sandy Anghie says Perth is lacking livability, and she wants a neighbourhood-by-neighbourhood approach to drive residential growth across the city.
I'm really committed to this vision of a city of neighbourhoods.
She's promised more amenity, including supermarkets and schools in CBD suburbs, to encourage more people to live in the city longer.
Simple things, whether it's a school or a supermarket, a public swimming pool, what other amenities do residents need in each area?
She also hopes for university expansion, as Edith Cowan University and its Academy of Performing Arts now moves into the CBD.
All the things that should be in a city campus will be here. This will be the first comprehensive city campus in Western Australia.
Sandy plans to address fundamental issues to attract people back to the city if elected, including free parking and tourism. Candidates for mayor have promised vibrancy, bringing people in with events, but Sandy promises her long-term plan will encourage them to stay.
We need people to rediscover this great place.
Nelson Liu, WAMN News.
The WA government will increase its weekly cap of overseas arrivals by 500 over the next month. Premier Mark McGowan made the announcement this week. He says the increase was negotiated down from the federal government's initial aim of doubling overseas arrivals by the 28th of September.
But the decision by the federal government to unilaterally double Western Australia's international arrivals by the 28th of September, in our view, carried too much risk for our state. Today we secured a new way forward, a unique agreement for Western Australia. One that is more sensible and more workable.
The increase will take place in stages, with caps increasing by 200 on the 28th of September and again by 300 on the 12th of October, bringing WA's total international arrivals to 1,025 per week.
The trial for the murder of the Aboriginal mother who died after being shot by police in Geraldton last year will take place in Perth. On Friday, a Supreme Court judge dismissed a change of venue application by the defendant's lawyers. Lawyers for the officer, whose name is under a suppression order, argued that the strain of leaving his family in Geraldton would reduce the officer's capacity to give evidence in Perth. The family of the victim, who have asked she be known by the initials JC, say they believe that there will be a fair trial in Perth. Indigenous advocate Megan Krakua says this outcome will benefit the family.
In terms of what's happened here in the court, it's really quite pleasing that this will benefit the family in some way in terms of trauma recovery, healing and ensuring that justice is being afforded.
WA's employment has improved, revealing a strong economic and social recovery for the state. The Australian Bureau of Statistics data for August has revealed an unprecedented increase of 32,200 jobs for the month, with almost 71% of the jobs lost during COVID-19 recovered. The state's unemployment rate also fell to 7% for the month, and Treasurer Ben White says the data shows WA's economy is recovering.
These are very, very encouraging jobs data for Western Australia, the largest increase in jobs on record and the largest drop in the unemployment rate on record.
The former aide for US Vice President Mike Pence has slammed the Trump administration's handling of the coronavirus crisis and revealed that she plans to vote for Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden. In a video, she criticised Mr. Trump for not doing enough after knowing the danger of the virus in February. Meanwhile, President Trump told reporters that he doesn't know who Olivia Troy is. The World Health Organization has warned countries not to reduce quarantine periods as case transmissions continue to rise in Europe. The organization said a rise in case numbers in September should serve as a wake-up call. France has lowered their isolation period to 7 days and Britain plans to lower it to 10 days, at the same time as other countries are also considering lowering their mandatory isolation periods.
The land that forgot will be on display with prehistoric creatures making their home at WA's new museum. The dinosaurs will be exhibited at the museum when the doors open on November 21st, which will feature sauropods, ancient megafaunas and prehistoric marine creatures. Arts Minister David Templeman says it's a new chance to revisit the dinosaurs after being one of WA's museum's most popular exhibits.
Everyone loves a good dinosaur, but West Australians can be very proud that we've got a dinosaur history here, and it is part of the feature of our new museum and particularly the Wildlife Gallery.
That's our weekly news and current affairs. We have the latest news on our website and social media pages.
I'll see you next Sunday. Take care.
Have a nice evening.